Hey guys, Jakob here, and today I want to record a very quick video about scaling the agency from 6 figures to 7 figures. I really wish I had it and I saw it when I started, because scaling from 6 to 7 figure is actually much harder than it is, and you first need to understand a few things. So let me sit here in the studio and let's jump to it. Alright, so let's begin. Everyone who is new here to the channel, my name is Jakob Wolitzki and I run a 7-figure software agency, DataDoe, where we help to automate processes for the Amazon sellers, vendors, aggregators, agencies, pretty much all of Amazon businesses, which is our niche. And on this channel, despite all of the Amazon stuff, I teach people also how to start a business, how to start the software agency, a dev shop, a software house, AI automation agency, and pretty much all of the things around the, I would say, technological agency business model. In this particular video, I want to share some insights on how to scale the agency from 6 to 7 figures. I just want to talk about straight facts. So we managed to scale the agency after first 2.5 years, let's say 3 years. And I just want to show you here what does it take to actually do that, just a math. So before starting the agency, I was actually working a full-time job. I was coaching on the side on actually how to code. I had some students that I was doing personal one-on-one coaching. And I was also a tutor in the programming bootcamp when I was teaching students how to code. Plus I was recording online courses. So when I was doing all of those, at some point I actually really burned out and I said, okay, I actually want to run something on my own, and software agency, this was pretty much the first thing that came to my mind. And in my opinion, this is relatively the easiest way for you to start the business, because what you were doing in your job as a programmer, but you just have to sell it, right? So pretty much programming services or automation services. So that was pretty much how I started. And then over the last almost 5 years at this point, we managed to scale and hire 25 people and be in a niche and so on. And now I just want to pretty much share it on this YouTube channel. First of all, I want to maybe describe what is 7-figure, because if you are going on YouTube, if you're going to TikTok, Instagram, pretty much there's a lot of fake gurus who are saying, hey, copy my 7-figure business model and you'll manage to get to the 7-figure. But actually 7-figure, it is super hard to get to. I mean, 7-figure means you are making 7-figure in the revenue, meaning you need to do at least $1 million yearly as a business, which is really hard to do, especially in the beginning. So if you're actually running a 6-figure business, this is really okay. And 6-figure can mean like 100K a year, 500K a year, even 900K per year, which is a lot of money. So today for this video, I actually prepared the Excel file that I want to share with you. And I just want to tell you the actual numbers. So the first table here that I've prepared, and please don't judge me on my Excel skills. I'm not the Excel guru. This is actually Google Sheet, but anyway, the first thing that you see here is I've put in the column A revenue. So let's assume that you run the 6-figure business. We actually managed to do a 6-figure first year after starting out, and actually it's not that hard, and I'll show you just in a moment why. But let's say that you want to reach a six-figure first year, meaning 100K per year, and some of the location you can pretty much do it working your 9 to 5 as a software developer. It's actually relatively high salary, especially nowadays when the IT is not that high as it used to be. It's much easier to get in. There are not many jobs as there were. A lot of things is already automated, but still 6-figure salary as a developer, it's really high. Anyway, when we started, it was me and my co-founder. He was technical, so we are both coders, right? So if you want to make $100K a year, you need to do 8K, let's say 8K, it's 8,333, because this is per month, right? So you just divide this number by 12, and we are going here. And now, if you are a solopreneur, if you are just working on your own, this is pretty much what you have to do on your own, right? So if you are not hiring anyone, if it's just you coding different projects, pretty much this is what you have to do. Now, if you are 2 developers, so let's say you and your partner, your co-founder, right? And you're both coding, what you have to do to reach 100K a year is approximately $4,000 per month. Now, let's say that you want to make 200, right? This is what you have to do per month, and this is what you have to do if you are 2 developers. Now, I've actually managed to do this table for all up to 10 developers just to see what are approximately the revenue that you have to do per developer per month. Because if you are hiring more developers, you're scaling your agency, then based on this Excel, you can actually see how many developers you need to hire, other than you, other than your co-founder, just extra developers to hit a certain number. So compare 100,000, right, which is 6-figure, to a 7-figure, which is a $1 million, if it's just you, you'd have to make 83,000 per month, which is pretty much impossible. I mean, I really doubt that you can earn that much, even if you're freelancing. I mean, some of you may say, okay, yeah, I know a guy that does it, but like relatively for 99.9% of people, this is not possible. Even for two developers, if you are making $40,000 per month, this is pretty much not possible, right? But this changes actually if you do this for more developers. We actually, when we are scaling the agency, we didn't do this math, okay? We are just setting unrealistic goals and we had unrealistic expectations because we couldn't really know our numbers, which is now, if I think back 5 years, it was super stupid. We're just saying, okay, this year we want to make 7-figure, right? We want to hit 1 million in revenue, but we weren't really comparing it or like, okay, if we want to make 1 mil, how many developers do we need to hire, right? Like, let's say today I have 3 developers, next month I have 4 developers, in 2 months I have 5 developers, how much approximately can I even hit? So if you're making like yearly goals, this Excel is like very important for you, right? Because if you are interested in making $1 million and you have 10 developers, on average per month, you need to have at least $8,000 revenue from the developer. And actually, this is totally doable. In our agency, we make something between, I mean, this number, let's say, is pretty low. So we make per one developer between 8K up to 20,000. I think that was like a top that we managed to do. And that was also on the productized services, experts, and in the niche, right? So even this number is like super hard. So you should aim somewhere in between here to actually hit this goal, right? If you're actually making 8K, which is really possible from one developer, and you have 10 developers, then yes, this is where you actually hit 7 figures. So I want you to really look at those numbers because sometimes it might be very hard to visualize it, right? Like what is even like 7-figure, how to even hit it. So let's say that you want to run a 7-figure software agency business. This means that you need 10 developers who are approximately bringing you $8,000 per month. Now let's take a look here how this works in real life, okay? And like real world scenario. And I'm here today will be only focusing on the actual full-time employees, not really freelancers. We are not talking about like flipping the software, fixed price software. In this particular video, I just want to focus on the easiest case scenario. So retainer model, meaning that your clients are paying you monthly on the hourly rates. There's the standard that if you are hiring someone full-time, right? This is like 168 hours. If you manage to make 80% of the time billable, which is around 135 hours, then you are really golden, right? Like this is approximately how much you can really charge per developer. And like this is a good standard, okay? Some companies that I know, some founders, they make this number higher, and some companies it's even full. But like on average, if you have like internal meetings, they have lunch breaks, there are like some time that is not billable, some time that, you know, you need to prepare a quote for the client and so on, like you need to develop some internal tools and stuff like this, then let's assume that this is the number that you can actually charge for per project, per developer, right? Let me show you this table because it's also very interesting. So what I did here is I've put the hourly rate that you can charge per hour per project and amount of the developers here. And let's see here also, how does it work? So if you have one developer, let's say it's not you, because as a founder, you probably will make sure to charge more than this, and probably you'll also working more than 168 hours. I remember for me, I think I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours on average. I could do, let's say 336 hours, but that was like near the burnout, right? So I don't really recommend it, but this is what you can do as a founder, like work those crazy hours, especially in the first stages of the company. So let's not count the founder, let's just count the developers. Let's say that you are already in the position that you don't have to code, that you are just managing the projects. You may be acting like as a project manager. Let's say that you don't hire any project managers, just the developers. And let's assume also that they are actually 135 hours billable. If you have one developer and you are charging $30 per hour, which is really cheap, but I know that there are some companies that charge that. This is what you make per month, right? Like $4,000. And this is the table where we do it per month. And then I will show you how much is it per year. Let's just check it here, right? I think it's just very interesting to put it on the Excel, and I think that you should definitely do it when you're kind of predicting or like aiming for some goals to achieve. So like if you earn $30 per hour, one developer, this is what you bring home, 4,000. Now, what is per year? This is 48,000 per year. This is what you can also see. I mean, there are developers, especially in the Europe, that you can hire for this amount, but like on average, it's something between this and let's say 60, 80K, those are like super senior developers. And in States, it's actually much higher. But anyway, if you have one developer, if you actually start increasing the rate from $30 up to $150 per hour, you can actually change this number quite drastically. You can even charge 20K per developer. But as I said, that's why I show it to you here, right? It's kind of the opposite, that you can do something between those numbers here if you're actually charging this amount of hours. I'll be actually straightforward with you. When we started, we are charging $50 per hour. Right now, we are somewhere between 90 to 120. This is where we aim. Like every client is different, every service is different. Sometimes we also charge like $200 per hour for consulting services, but it's completely different. But like per developer, per project, when you start, I would say 50, 60, 70, those are the rates that you can actually really sell your services for, and clients will pay, and they won't really tell, hey, this is like crazy too much. This is what clients will be okay to pay if they are reaching out to the software development company expertise in something, right? Like in a niche, in the industry, in the programming language, like some technology niche, like you can, for example, have just React developers or Python developers, and you can charge extra just to provide with this knowledge that you specialized for, right? Like today we won't be speaking that much on the hourly rates. I think I'll do like a separate video just to like describe how much you can potentially charge and what companies are there that charge this amount, and that amount. I just wanted to show you the numbers today, just to start somewhere. So let's say that you charge $70 per hour and you have one developer, right? This is what you can get. It's almost 10K from one developer. If you have two developers, it's 20K, 30, 40, and so on, right? Up to 10 developers. And now how does it look like when it comes to the numbers per year, the revenue per developer? If you have one developer and you want to scale from 6-figure to 7-figure, what you can see from this Excel is that, hey, it's just not possible. So if you are setting your goals for the year, right, and you're saying, okay, this year we want to make $1 million revenue. If you actually don't really do this math, if you don't plan it accordingly with your hiring strategy, of course, you need to take a lot of different variables like longevity of the project, the maintenance, how can you actually sell new projects, what are the size of the projects. Like there's a lot of factors that I simply want to not discuss on this video. In this video, I just want to really show you the simple math behind your actual goals when running the software development company. So what you see here is that 1 million, it's not even 1 million yet, but let's assume that we can already treat this number here as 1 million. It starts if you have 4 developers that are working full-time, and I mean full-time, they have projects loaded for this at least 135 hours with the rate $150, which is nearly impossible. I'm telling you from the experience that those rates, they are almost impossible to get, especially when you're starting out, especially when you are starting with the competitors that are out there. It's almost impossible to do that. What you can do is what we've pretty much discussed, right? Is like you can charge somewhere between $50, $70, let's say even $80, right? This is the range that you are aiming for, especially when starting out and you have like good talent. If we actually do it, we see that our window starts here, okay? So realistically, if you want to get to 7-figure, if you want to build 7-figure agency, you need at least 8 developers working full-time on all of those projects. So imagine that today, if you have 4 developers, tomorrow you have 5, like in a month you have 6, it still may not add up, right? Like this is only working if you start a fresh year and you have already the team working on all of those projects for this rate. So like the least you can do is you need 8 developers working with the rate of $80 on all of those projects. And this is the real math behind actually scaling. The next thing is, okay, if you have actually 9 developers, but you're charging $70, or you have 10 developers and you're charging $60 per hour. This is where you get to the 7-figure. So again, somewhere between 60 to 70 and then 9 to 10 developers. This is where you actually are scaling to 7-figure agency. I just wanted to show you the math behind actually scaling the company. There's a lot of people that claim to have 7-figure agencies, and then many times I've actually checked LinkedIn of those people who claim to have a 7-figure agency. They were like no employees. They were like 1 or 2 employees on LinkedIn. You can actually really see that they are lying, right? Like there's not relatively a lot of people who claim to have a 7-figure agency, but they don't have really any proof. So the easiest way to actually fact check someone who claims to run a certain business, certain size, like 7-figure, is to actually check their LinkedIn profiles, because also if the agency is already making 7-figure, like they have their reputation, they have their brand. So I really doubt that they wouldn't have a LinkedIn profile, right, for this agency, because the LinkedIn profile is also like the proof for the actual new employees that they can check it out. They can check, hey, okay, I like this company, I want to work there, right? So like sometimes it's just not adding up. And today in this short video, I just wanted to show you how can you think about the whole idea of scaling from 6 to 7 figure. So if you ever want to have a 7-figure software development agency, you see that you need at least 9 developers working full-time. And by full-time, I mean, yeah, they're working full-time, but the billable time is 80% of their time. And you need to do that with the rate of $70 per hour on various projects. So that's pretty much what it takes to do that. And that will be it for this video. And in the end, I just want to say that we are actually launching a very new project soon called Agency Dudes. We plan to be a #1 community for the entrepreneurs, for the future entrepreneurs who want to run their tech agencies. So software house, design agency, automation agency, AI automation agency. I mean, all of those keywords that you can see that are related to tech in the end, and they are service companies. So if you're interested, please check in the bio of this YouTube video. There will be a link to our new community when we'll be running weekly QA sessions, private coaching, some more depth courses. That will be really it. Let me know, guys, what you think about this kind of format of the videos. Please subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next one. Bye.